Good morning, everyone, and good evening, where Jayapriya is. She is, of course, in Chennai. Hi, Jayapriya, how are you? It's raining where Jayapriya is, right, Jaya? How are you doing
Yeah,
today?
here,
Okay,
but still we are able to manage.
good. And today we are doing an interview with the club coach of the year in 2019, who is Raam, distinguished Toastmaster Raam Lakhanpal. Raam, welcome to the meeting, to the interview.
Great. Thank you.
Hello, Ram.
Thank you, Jay Priya.
Toastmaster Ram. Tell us about the clubs you were coaching in 2018-19 to get that award. What clubs were you coaching?
Very, very good question. The two things that I did was I was told that there's one particular club in my area. It wasn't an area. I was still a president at the time. I'm relatively new to Toastmasters in terms of your experiences. I've only been a Toastmaster a little over 5 years. When I was a president, I was approached by coaching a club because the growth potential that I was looked at when I was a member of Richmond Hill Toastmasters, a very, very accomplished club. That club is been around for over 20 years. And when I became president, I took everything and turned it upside down. And what does that mean by upside down? Meaning that meetings, schedules, roles, etc., and also the recruitment process, they weren't existent, non-existent. They they didn't have the skills, or they didn't want to be bothered. They want to just keep it around 20 members at the time. And then I was approached because of the growth that was going on at the time with Richmond Hill. I started out with 18 members, and there were many things that I could have done. But let me go. What was the other club? It was called Unionville. They only had about 7 or 8 members as well, so which qualifies to be the coach potential. You could coach,
Mm-hmm.
as you know, 12
Yeah.
or less than that. So that club was very, very good in terms of cooperation. They really wanted to work with a coach. And every week I was there at 7 o'clock till 8:30. And sometimes we stayed back after that. And I told them the importance of having a meeting in both clubs. What I said was every meeting is an open house, not necessarily a physical open house all the time, but you must think about why is a visitor coming to your club? Is there something in their minds? How do you get into the psyche of the mind of that visitor? Not only visitor, but you got to keep in mind that there are people that are attending all the time. You got to have to feed them the nutrition as well. But most important of all, the that is important. So what I did was I developed a lead system. When somebody came in, rather than going through an email process, which is antique, by the way, I utilized a cell phone process. I developed a 10-step process. One of the first ones was to write a little autoresponders to those that visited. Why did they visit, etc. And then I'll send them a reminder, not me, but VP membership. I made sure that she was doing that, and she had those
Mm-hmm.
three contacts, and she was doing that. And that developed from 18, little by little, keep on going. When I promised that I was going to develop the club to 45, I lied. Why did I lie? It went to 46. And then the powers to be, those that are there for a long, long time, said, Ram, stop, no more, don't enroll anymore. And they said, why? Things are flowing. They will break up the club into two. We don't want that. So that's enough. We cannot handle. It's standing room only at this time. So leave it there. And I said, okay, I'll cool down. I'll let the visitors come and go.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, and then the other thing that was important was people didn't know the direction at the time when they joined Pathways. What I
Right.
did was I personally or somebody else called the new enrollee or new member. And I said, all right, we'll go through a half an hour process here. I'll show you what is under the hood. And you can go through that before all the particulars came from Toastmaster International, because there's a little gap. So rather than getting bored, I said, tomorrow, you enroll today, tomorrow at 10 a.m., I'll call you and by the phone, and we'll go through no Zoom at the time. We'll just go through the phone process.
Yeah.
Here's it. Let me show you how do you get to where you need to be, and choose an icebreaker or something like that. So those are some of the things. And as I said, I did a 10-step process, assigning a mentor to them and things of that nature. So that got the attention of the district. I didn't even know that there was a coach of the year at the time. Someone recommended that I do that because of the successes. Yeah, there's several people said, because I was relatively unaware of these district things here and there. So that is a reason why they recommended that 10-step process is what they liked most.
That's amazing, Ram, that you created a process and you followed through that process, and hey, there you had 45 members and you asked to stop. Sometimes too quick a growth can be also not that great for the club, of course, but splitting the club, it's up to the club really to decide. Nobody can force the club, as we all know. Now, you were a president of one club and coaching Unionville, right?
Yes.
Which club are you a president of again? Sorry.
I was the president of Richmond Hill Toastmasters.
Richmond Hill Toastmasters. And they had 18 members, and Unionville had 7 or 8 members, and you brought both the clubs to the top. Now, what is this?
Presidents distinguished.
Presidents distinguished.
Great.
Amazing feat.
Yes.
Now, Jayapriya, you want to know of course, the 10-step processes.
Before that, I want to understand how did he promote the club to increase the guest rate? Because that is one challenge many people who approach from the district.
One of the things that I looked at was social media. I personally looked at the Facebook. Every week I will tweak something or the other within the Facebook page. And of course, the other one is to post and all that were there as well. But Facebook is very, very sensitive to the needs of where are you directing it? What are you doing with the SEO? And it's for free as well for all the clubs. I did many things like that in bringing it out. And I had the VP membership and VP public relations. I had the VP public relations to post this create a page on as well on Facebook and post the things that are happening too. But tweaking it, and as you know, SEO looks at fresh content. The Robarts, when they see some new content, they want to go and see what's there. So I was feeding the food to SEOing for Facebook. And then we are getting, and sometimes we would have 7 or 8 guests in January. Standing room only. There's no way to sit down anywhere else. People were lined up, standing at the back. So there was a lot of things happening like that. And the main thing is the passion in which you do, the letter P. If you have that passion and persistent, and if you were to do that consistently, there's no way but you're going to grow. You, first of all, need the leads. That's where it begins.
I like that. Passion, persistent, and consistent. PP.
For the viewers who are wondering what SEO is, it's search engine optimization, where you use keywords and phrases, and of course, fresh content as well. And that attracts the Google search robot, to do that. So that's awesome, Ram. Now, what are the other challenges that you faced in the club that you were coaching?
There were 4 pillars in every club. Those have been there for a while that are part of the furniture. The cooperation was not there at the very beginning. And I had some run into because they didn't want to change the format of it. My format was, there is a new sheriff in town and it's a president. Let me be the president. Let me show you how it could be done, how we could build this club to doubling it. How could we bring it to 46? And every night when we left on Thursday night at 9 o'clock, we must have a Toastmaster. We must have this. those are essential roles that were filled. Not previously what happened is, we'll see who shows up, who wants to fill the roles. That was not going to go with me. I said, we need constant changes. And I had run into some of the people as well. They didn't want to do it. And I said, no, I'm the president. I will decide. I will decide what is good for the club. And it's not my ego doing it. I'm doing it for the benefit of the club. And you'll remember the good things that'll happen. And it'll be happier. You'll have more choices, more membership, more variety as well.
Amazing. Now you said the 4 pillars. So what are those 4 pillars? One was cooperation.
Yeah, well, the 4 pillars, what I meant was that there were 4 pillars in a different way. 4 pillars mean there were 4 people that have been members for 10, 15 years that made decisions on behalf of the club. And they didn't let the president or some other things interfere in the manner in which they operated before. So that was of pillars that I was referring to. There could be other pillars as well. Of course, in like this context, it's those pillars.
And so there was a certain club culture that had developed by people who had been around for quite a while, and they were going to stick to the culture no matter what, because they didn't see outside of the culture. And here you came along and changed the way traditions were and the culture was by instilling new behaviors, new ways of looking at things. Now, how hard is it to change a culture of a club?
Challenging, the letter C. Not difficult, but challenging. How challenging is it? But you have to use the analogy divide and conquer rule. And divide and conquer rule is in which I said to everybody, these were the 4 pillars. I took one pillar at a time, and I took them for coffee at McDonald's or anywhere else. And they said, okay, well, I want to discuss something outside the meeting area. Let's go through. Let me show you the plan, what vision I have for the club, and how it could benefit. And I'm sure, Brum, you'll agree with me that these are the directions that are going to be so beneficial to the club. We're going to bring out. And one lady that was a pillar said, "Oh, why aren't we enrolling enough females?" Okay, leave it with me. I guarantee we're going to have 12 females by the end of my term. And we had something like 13, something like that. Because of the area we lived in, the women did not come. I said, there'll be a mixture as well. Previously, they were dominated by males. I said, no, we have to have a mixture. A mixture is very, very good. So I got all 4 in 4 different directions. And one of the pillars, the generals with one pillar was, he did not like what was going on, and he was a VP of membership. He had written out a letter of resignation, and because I think I was pushing him a little too far, and he didn't quite like that, because sometimes you can push those that are newer much better, but those that have been the part of the furniture, part of the pillar, challenging, very, very challenging. But I got him into a very, very special coffee house, and we had coffee, we had a thing. And by the end of that conversation, he was all in with my plan, and that helped. So those are.
Ram, I would like to know whether your path base was missionary communication.
No.
No, because I'm seeing that, like, you have a vision and you have a plan, how you need to approach people, how to win confidence of the members. I'm able to see a clear roadmap on winning the club's confidence is more required for a club coach. And you are giving us lots of insights. And I'm sure Bram will agree with me on this.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's good. Just let me, the other thing that I did was I had the other guy running for president at the time, for election time, was an English guy. He's an engineer, very senior engineer as well. As soon as he saw Raam's name there, he said, no, I'm going to withdraw. So didn't want to run for president. But then later, but I was new at the time. But anyways, when he became this, he said, I'll be your secretary. What a wonderful guy. Professional. When we had every month, we must have a meeting, not for 15 minutes, but 2 whole hours. I set the agenda. And these are the things that we need to do in order to progress a little further. Going back to you, Priya, the other thing that I said I will do as well, I told the secretary, here's a guy that is not going along with the team, and I'm not happy with the VP membership. And VP membership. And I am going, what do you think? Not fire him, some trick. So the secretary went and told this guy that Raam is going to fire you by the end of this meeting. So this guy came running to me. Don't fire me. Don't fire me. Could we have a meeting? Could we have a meeting tomorrow? And I'll buy the coffee. I'll get you a croissant. We can work this out. By getting somebody new, it's not going to work out. I'm going to work with you. Bang on. That's what I wanted. Strategy. You got to play that. Now something different.
Great strategy. I really loved it.
Yeah,
amazing to know. It's nice. It's like understanding the psychology of people and approaching them really helps and saves a lot of time and energy in a way, Ram.
Yeah, because I wanted all the different areas to work together in cohesion to move forward. And someone was too much of a weight, and then it drags the other people down. So that really helped. After that, he was a good boy. He really behaved after that. So that was really great in terms I'll still remember. And after that, things just went better than what I thought. No experience with a Toastmaster. By the way, one more thing, so I must reveal that I, at the time, did not take any roles. I was watching for 1 year the club, what it was doing, what it could do better. For 1 whole year, I was strategizing everything that needed to do in this club. And then when I ran, not for nothing else but the president, boom. That was the way I thought my plans worked.
Amazing. So now, you not only had people who were going to vote for you as the president, and so they were for you. And so they saw something in you, but also you found other champions during your presidency, or people who were not even champions for the club. And then you took them for coffee, bought them croissants, and God knows, did you buy them whiskey? And you converted them, and you have persuasive power. So I get here that as leaders, as coaches, sometimes we need to not withdraw when we see that there is conflict, but to go for and sort of ask the people one at a time how you could work with them, and convert them to a vision that calls to them, and the ability to persuade them to that vision, so they say, oh yeah, I'll play this game. Like they were so adamant that they were not going to play the game at the beginning, and then suddenly they're playing this game with you. So what is this persuasive thing? I want to sort of hone in on that conversation, or at least the highlights of that conversation.
The first thing is to ensure that this person would be worthy to be spoken with. And what strategy would I play with this person that's going to be beneficial to him as well? And one of the things, his name is Ben Nurgis. I said, Ben, this guy does not take phone calls either. He relies on emails. I said, Ben, there is a very, very good coffee house. I really want to present. And also, the other thing is I really buttered his toes so much that he didn't even know what hit him. Buttered his toes means made him very, very important. I said, I am a new guy in town. I don't know much, but I know the things that you know so much. I'd like to pick your brains. I want to get information from you that's going to be beneficial to you, and you're a great presenter. So I sold him lots of ideas to bring him in my side. And when he came to my side, I knew the relationship is going to work. So that was the key in not only one, but the other ones as well. If I were to have 7 executives all at one gathering, there was not as much cohesion as it was the cooperation between one and one. If I were to say to Ben this, the secretary, David might say, why is he just giving this guy really, really great recommendation? So that's why I divided up who I was going to speak on a one-to-one basis. And that really, by the end of about the second month, I had everybody's cooperation, and everybody wanted to meet. Everybody wanted to look forward to it. The secretary will say, when is the next meeting? Around the thing is in about 7 days, we got to have a meeting. We need to keep everything going as well. That was great. David was great engineer and great team member. So then the others could see that David was working so well, Ben was working so well, and the others were working so well. And then everybody came together. By the end of the second month, the strategy is important by giving them all the skills that they had and how they could benefit as a Toastmaster, as a leader. You could use this in a resume. You could put my name in there, and I guarantee I will get you that job or the promotion because you learned the leadership style.
That's amazing. So you sold them on ideas where they were great at doing what they were doing. You found something about them to uplift them, to inspire them, to empower them. So they came to your side and said, oh yeah, now I can succeed even better than where I was with Raam as the president, as a coach. And you had a very good starting team, you and the secretary, David. And between the two of you, you were the two champions to begin with. And then you created other champions out of that and brought them to your side. And then, of course, after that, everything's smooth sailing. So that's a great strategy, Raam, that I've just learned from you. Jaya, what do you think?
Divide and rule.
You remind me of the art of
divide
war.
and conquer.
Divide and conquer. So it was like, Raam, your talk reminded me of the CC4 speech, how to say it, with so much of rhetorical devices put up in right places, picking the brains, pillars, divide and conquer, and the PPC. Passion, persistent, and consistent. I really love the way you explained your process in making a club to understand how effectively they can use their potential. And in fact, even for the viewers, you gave the example so clearly that how you can persuade a person, how you can initiate a conversation, how you can retain a person who wants to leave the club. Just pick a phone, talk to them, invite them for a cup of coffee, and handle it very smoothly. Mm-hmm. So that's so easy, but many people don't do that. We learned that, and I'm sure the viewers would have also taken a lot of takeaways from what you have shared with us today.
That's amazing. You know, some people just want emails, some people just want phone calls, you know, and you know what, me personally, I just want WhatsApp. If you are not calling me on WhatsApp or sending me a message, I might never get to your email, because I get so many emails from around the district and so many from my own team that I get just bogged down. I don't even understand email. Email was like 10 years ago for me. I moved on to messaging system. They're so easy for me anyways, but this is, by the way, a comment. Raam, thank you so much for coming here today and explaining your success. Your last words. Go ahead.
The one thing I must mention, Becky was the VP of membership, and I asked her to send not phone call alone, but for texting. Do the texting as well. Remind them of the meeting coming up. And what is the theme for this week? And that theme brought some of it, and also said, I'm going to send a newsletter by email. And these are not newsletters per se. Just tell them the tips about speaking, about doing all that. And Becky worked so well with me. In closing, I'm just saying Becky works so all, as I said, all the teams as well. Becky worked so well with me that when she got married, I was the MC at her wedding. Wow. 3 years ago. And yeah. And Becky is still my mentee 3 years later. And she looks up to me as well as the other important thing that every club should remember. Sergeant at Arms is one of the key roles in Toastmasters. Don't forget that. They can make or break the club. And I think they should be nurtured And that is what I did for the Sergeant at Arms. I said, when a new face comes in, I would like to meet them. Each and every one that walks in. That is important to me. And this is what I shook their hands. I welcomed them. And I said, oh, next week, I will be waiting here for you. I want to see you next week. Okay? I'll see you next Thursday. Not hopefully. None of that. I will be seeing you next week, being a positive. With that,
Right.
thank you very much, Raam and Priya, for the great opportunity to share some of the little ideas that I've had.
Thank you.
Thank you. And congratulations on your success as the club coach in 2018-19 and as the president as well. So amazing job. Thank you, Raam.
Congrats. Congrats.
Thank you. My pleasure.